guys, welcome to the Wednesday video, and today I wanted to get a little personal. I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind for quite a while, and I can't really describe it as something as regret. Regret is a futile thing that I think we as humans have to deal with. No other species has to really deal with guilt unless you're a cute dog or cat that feels bad for knocking over a dish or something like that. But I've lived my life pretty regret free in regards to some of the ways that I've done things and said things to people. I think the biggest regrets I have, though, almost exclusively take place in high school. I know that sounds weird to say because I'm older now. I definitely have my Logan look. I've got my gray beards and my gray hair, and I'm not really spiky hair or anything, or clean as I say, but there's a lot of friends I made in high school, a lot that I would think would be my best friends. In fact, I got made fun of in high school because I really thought that I had a connection with all these individual people, and 10 years later, that's weird to say, 10 years later after high school, I ended up not really being friends with any of them till this day, and I tried really hard to make that happen. I reached out to a lot of my friends, and whether they be guy or girl, and I made efforts to retain those friendships and make those relationships last as best as I could. And it never felt good. I tried my best to create these friendships and relationships and make them last as best as possible. I bought gifts for friends when I could. But some saw me as a moocher because I didn't have money all the time, because I didn't have a job until I was in the later years of my high school. I tried to be as thoughtful as I could for my friends, and I ended up kind of being a little bit more on the selfish side. It kind of backfired. And so I realized that when I went to college, I had the same experiences. In college, I struggled to make friends. I felt that I didn't really fit into the community of theater at college. I tried to get into acting a lot more. I took film courses. I did a lot of my interests that I thought would help me not only grow as a person, but really help me create a lot of lasting relationships. And like I said, I was made fun of for being the guy that was like, oh, you're my best friend, you're my best pal, you're my best buddy. And I ended up walking away with only maybe a couple relationships from college as well. And thinking back now, the only two friends I've really kept over the years has been Al and Frazier. And who you guys know from the podcast, and Frazier from Super Scope, and, behind the scenes stuff. So it's been an interesting course to think about. And I want to tell a story that I think is a bit of a bummer, because I every holiday season I want to tell these people how much I love them and care about them and want to reconnect, and I seem to fail, and I don't know what it is. I now that I'm older and wiser, I've made attempts. I've tried to reconcile with myself and push through the regret and move on, and it still never works. So one of my best friends in high school, legitimate best friend, who he and I spent every summer together all the time. We were in a band together, and we would make it a tradition to, no matter what we would do, whether we went to high school or college, when we got back home, we spent almost every single day together, playing games, going to movies, hanging out at parties, just spending a lot of time together. And he had a great girlfriend who I also loved very much as friends, where the three of us would hang out all the time. And I made a lot of efforts to maintain that relationship. And along the way in college, there was a bit of misconnection where we stopped talking for a little bit, wires got crossed, and we just didn't really have that same chemistry like we used to. But we still made an effort to be friends, and we tried really hard. And then I became a YouTuber, and that relationship died. It sounds so dark, I know, but it's the honest truth. Our traditions, our abilities to meet up and become friends disappeared. And I feel like a lot of it relies on me to try and fix. And I've tried my best to fix it. And I don't even know if they're going to see this video. And if they don't, that's okay. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. But I don't know what went wrong. I feel that I have tried to reconcile and fix it. And every day I live with that relationship crumbled. I live with not having those friends anymore. These were the kind of people that I thought that I would purposely buy a home so that I could have my wife and kid live next to them so that our kids can grow up together and be best friends. It was kind of like the Corey and oh god, what's his name from Boy Meets World? I gotta look it up. Sean. Corey and Sean. I always thought we were gonna be Corey and Sean from Boy Meets World, where it was like we were just gonna always be together forever through friendship, and that didn't happen, and it feels weird. Because now they're getting married, and now they're gonna move on with their lives, and it feels weird to not be a part of that. But that happens. That's the thing that sucks, is that relationships fall apart whether you try and maintain them or not. Over maintaining them means they fall apart. I live in regret a lot, and I've tried so hard to not do that. I've tried very hard to make sure that I'm friends with everyone, and that the communication is key, and that things are fine, and that everything just works out. But the reality is that nothing ever really works out. Nothing ever is perfect. And so you have to decide what's worthy of living in regret and what's worthy of moving on. Granted, you wouldn't want to live in regret always, but we're human beings, and our natural instincts are to just try and feel better about things or feel bad about things. And it's kind of up to ourselves to make that decision, to put our front foot forward and move on. When you're young, you're awkward. I know that seems weird. That seems weird to say. 18-year-old Jirard is very different than 28-year-old Jirard. I'm going to be very different from when I'm 38, from when I'm 48, from when I'm 58, to when I'm 68. And it feels weird because I either burned bridges or I embraced them and I reinforced them. And there's always going to be what if that friendship survived? What if that relationship lived? What if I'm friends with this guy and not that guy? Or what if I went out with this girl, not that girl? Or what if I hung out with this girl or that girl? Or whatever it may be. And it's weird, but you can't live in regret. It's a demoralizing thing that will haunt you. And I've tried hard to not let it get a hold of me. I would even compare it somewhat to anxiety, where you wake up and you want all of the conflict going on within you to be gone. And at the core of it, it seems stupid, right? Where it's not necessarily friendship that is on the line, but you do things to bother the other person, and then you start opening up a different can of worms. Did I say something to offend them? Did they offend me? Why did it fall apart? And it becomes a he said, she said, he felt, she felt situation. And you can't really win. And so at the end of the day, you have to be selfish with what you want. And that's the core thing, is that we as human beings want things from others. And you can't live in regret, because it will eat you alive. Now, I know obviously there's the controversy of what went on a few years ago, and everyone's going to assume that I'm talking about that situation. And I'm not. I'm not talking about it at all. People will think the worst of me. They have thought the worst of me, and my personal space has been violated in that many a time. But I still feel that what went down is still my business, and people can assume the worst of me. But I really feel that if I was the worst person in a conflict, that I wouldn't have the friends around me that I do have. I have to count my blessings where they are. If I was such a bad person, then why would all the people around me still be my friend? If I was truly rotten, I'm not the kind of person that has power or greed or the ability to, sociologically instill what I want on other people. I'm not gonna, I don't force that on anyone, and no one should ever live that way or be that much of an aggressive person. But I really feel that if I'm a bad person because of my regret and because of my actions, then I don't think I'd be here on YouTube. I'm pretty transparent with who I am. I feel that I give my all the time, and people can see when it's bullshit. People can see when I'm not being real or genuine. And those are the moments where I allow someone out there to bring me down. Because I've always been humble and honest and hungry from the beginning, and wanting to create things. And it's been often misconstrued as conflict. It's been often misconstrued as big-headedness. And, you know, I'll say it. I got into a bit of a tiff with a YouTuber back in the day. A YouTuber who's a very close friend of mine, who publicly hurt me, and it stuck for a long while. But eventually we made up and things were fine. And it was such a weird thing because we were friends for so long with and without YouTube. And it felt weird to have that conflict. And I dreamed every day of fixing it. I dreamed every day of overcoming that issue, and it never came. It never came until I lost my mom. And when my mom died, everything reset. And it felt weird because it's like, was my mom's death a reason to reconcile? Was my mom's death a reason to fix the problems that were there? Was it a reason to get out of the regret of feeling that way? I don't know. You know, my mom died when I was 25. So it's 3 years have gone since then. And it still feels like even in that moment, is everything okay with that person? So, a lot of heavy stuff today. A lot of interesting insight that I've given you guys. Hopefully this stuff makes sense. And I know that I'm still going to get crucified regardless. But I think the only way to do a video like this is to just do as I always do and just talk to you and communicate with you and give the best version of me that I can. And whether or not you believe it is honestly up to you. I'm just a dude talking to a camera, and this is like my current therapy session. So, sorry you're my therapist. I hope you all enjoy having your theoretical white lab coats and you enjoyed talking to me. I don't know why therapists wear lab coats. Do they? I don't know. Doctor coats. Who cares? Hope you guys liked today's video. I hope it made sense. I know I was all over the place as I usually am in these videos, but you know, sometimes you just got to be real. You have to get everything you can off your chest. Most of the topics I talk about on the show are stuff that I thought about on the car ride home after a 3 or 4 a.m. drive, and I don't regret that because I feel like that's when I'm most open and honest anyways. So that's it. That's all. I love your I love you all. I don't say I love your faces. That's Phil DeFranco's thing. I love you all. Be kind to others, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.